This is a story about a lawyer who got pregnant in Form 3. There was a young girl at Form 3 in Homa Bay, one of the schools, and she went for holidays. Then she had visited her sister. Then she noticed a very well-dressed young man, and they talked. And this young man convinced her that they go to Nairobi. He was going to marry her. So against the advice of all her friends and relatives, she decided to go to the city with this very well-dressed young man. On reaching the city, the girl realized that this young man was very, very poor. He did not even have a house. Actually, he was living on pieces of paper around an area that she was not used to. The stench, the dirt, the filth around that place was terrible. But because she had already gone to Nairobi and she knew nobody else, she had to stay with this young man. And then nowadays in Nairobi, people can dress very well, but whatever they wear, maybe the tie, 2 shillings 50 cents, the trouser, 15 shillings, the shoes, 25 shillings, the shirt, maybe 10 shillings. So with less than 100 shillings, a young man can be very well dressed and deceive you the same way this girl was deceived. So the girl came to realize that this young man was actually a thief, and at night he used to go to mug people, this get a business, and steal. But even that money, he was a drug addict, so he would smoke opium, he would take drugs, and he would not take care of this girl. Unfortunately, she's already pregnant, and then she gives birth. There's a poor neighbor woman who brews local brew. So it was this woman who occasionally had sympathy over this girl and sometimes would give her something to eat. But in most cases, she shared food with chokora. She used to pick food in the dustbins. So one day, this elderly woman had compassion. So she decided to give this young girl some money to return home. And because she was new in Nairobi, she didn't even know where to pick the bus, the Machakos stage. So some 2 young men volunteered and took her to the stage. She boarded a bus and reached Homa Bay early morning the next day. The money she had was finished and still she was going to Mbita, about 448 kilometers away from Homa Bay. She had nobody, she didn't know anybody else because the home is far. So she decided to sleep alongside the road. And nowadays, not even one person came to ask her with the baby what the problem is. And the girl is so thin, she's so wasted, she's so finished, she's so hungry. So by evening, she noticed there's a matatu or a public service vehicle belonging to a neighbor in Mbita. So she went to this driver and told him, I'm a visitor to the home of the owner of this matatu. Please take me there. Take me there. So she boarded the matatu alongside the matatu driver. They reached this man's home. Then she introduced herself. I'm the daughter of so and so. The neighbor could not even recognize her because she was so thin. She was so wasted. The eyes had protruded, and the bones had, the eyes had sunk, and the bones had protrusions, looking like a ghost. So the neighbor escorted her to her home. When the father and the parents saw her, she was so finished, so thin. The child is so thin, but they agreed to take care of her, and they agreed to return her to school. And she scored a mean grade of A-, went to university, and became a lawyer. Some advising all the prospective lawyers, all the prospective engineers, all the prospective doctors, don't pass through the trenches in Nairobi before you get your certificate. You study, go directly to the university and become what you want to be. I'm told of a woman who used to call her granddaughter certificate. Then people asked her, how comes you're calling your granddaughter certificate? She said, I took my daughters to school, and this is what she brought me. So don't be in that category of people who are taken to school, who are taken to TVET, who are taken to colleges, who are taken to university, and then they get loose and come home with unexpected things. Everything has its time. So let's always obey the right time for us to do some of these things. Thank you.